Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that all of you are having a great start to your weekend. Welcome Rishi, hi Yani, hi Fuang, good to see many of our members already in the class, ready to learn. Students, this is a members chat class. That means to join the chat, you need to click the join button next to the subscribe button on the channel. We will also have an all chat class where everybody is welcome to join the chat in about 2 hours. That will be speaking part 3. And that will be a continuation of today's topic, which is canceling an appointment. This lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Check us out there for the general IELTS. Visit us at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power our live classes. We use these to interact with students, to speak with students, check their speaking band level, give feedback, and of course we have lots of practice exams, videos, interactive courses, and much more on our websites. We will be using these today for our interactions. This is the academic website here at aehelp.com. Simply click this big red button that's just right above my head there to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. It really doesn't cost much. We're here to help as many students as we can. We are an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, an IELTS test registration center. I'm a certified British Council agent, so you're in great hands with us. Sanantha, Domenico, Chen, nice to see Creative Edge in here. More and more of you joining in. That is fantastic. For the general IELTS, it's the green background. Again, click this big red button there to join the premium package. It's just above my head there. And it's a one-time payment. And we have a new discount code for you today when you do this. Again, it's a 10% discount code from our latest video. I'll show you that in just a second. And it's Live9. So use Live9 to get a 10% discount from an already very competitive price. All right. Students, so the code is Live9. And to get our apps, check out Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help in your app store. Domenico, I hope you have a good lunch. I hope you've got something delicious packed for lunch. Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp, GIELTS Help. Instagram is where you will see a vocabulary, reels, lots of fun little videos to teach you more English and communication, as well as our schedules for the week. And if you have questions, students, you can always send me an email. We welcome emails. You can send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Now, the schedule. So we've got a couple classes for you right now. Speaking part 2, speaking part 3. And then tomorrow we will have this Light Hall class. That's a different platform that's specially designed for live teaching. It's awesome. It's real time. You get to video, audio chat with me and other classmates as well. We will do a full speaking interview, and it's great because it's exactly like the computer-based exam. And then we've got a little bit of a break. Now, very importantly, students, pay attention to this. We will be sending out notices on our YouTube comments as well, and on our community board that we've got daylight savings coming up tomorrow midnight here in North America, which means that we roll our clocks back 1 hour. And for a lot of people, that's great because they get to sleep a little bit more. But for me, it's tricky because that means the classes will be 1 hour later. I just simply can't bring myself to waking up at 3:30 a.m. So notice that you'll have these different times a little bit later starting classes on the 10th, 11th, and 12th, and so forth. Okay, like I say, we've got a new video for you on YouTube. Check that out. It is a candidate from Chennai, India. She does an amazing job answering the questions. We just rolled out that video about 30 minutes ago. So check that out. She does an awesome job. Pay attention to how she answers those questions. That's basically what you need to do for a Band 9. Members, any of you check out that video right before class just for a warm-up? Yeah, Wong, my sentiments exactly. Okay. Domenico says, I'm looking forward to putting the clock back. So yeah, well, for some of you who observe daylight savings, I know Italy, if I'm not mistaken, does, Domenico. So yeah, some places the schedule will, well, just kind of stay the same if you've got daylight savings, although Europe is sometimes a bit different. Okay. Chen says, I'll check it out after the class. Yeah, so and again, in that video, you'll see that new code. It's live 9. Okay. All right, everybody, so let's get right into IELTS speaking part 2. It's kind of the part that a lot of students worry about. And I guess if somebody doesn't practice for speaking part 2, it is daunting, meaning that it's a little bit scary, uncertain, because it's not everyday conversation. Right? So we don't have situations in our daily lives, most of us, where somebody says, you know, discuss a time when you had to cancel or change your schedule, and then what was your schedule? Why did you have to change it? So we don't have these like mini speeches that we give in daily life so frequently. Maybe at work or in school with presentations we do at some points, but it's not something that we just kind of have as a part of our skill set, speaking skill set, many of us. So it really does take practice. Okay, you have to practice it. Now, IELTS speaking part 2, it's kind of, you can think about it like 5 different categories. What are the 5 different categories of speaking part 2? Members, so what kinds of speaking part 2 facets or categories might you see in the IELTS exam? And this is very important, viewers, because you need to make sure that you practice each of these at least a couple of times so that you're not surprised when you see it in your real IELTS exam. Okay, so what are the 5 different domains? Okay, Chen says it could be a person. Yes, absolutely, Chen. So you could talk about a person, like talk about your best friend. Could be an object, like talk about a piece of technology that you own. It could be a place, yes. So talk about your favorite school place. It could be an event, right? So talk about a happy moment in your life. It would be an event. And it could be an idea as well, yes. So talk about an idea you had to help your family, for example, right? So person, object, place, event, idea. Sometimes it's a little bit of a combination, but you need to recognize what you're dealing with when you look at the cue card right away. That should only take you a fraction of a second when you practice. Let's take a look at this card, and then we'll get into it in detail, work out a sample answer. So IELTS speaking part 2. Read the card first. Discuss a time when you had to cancel or change your schedule. What was your schedule? Why did you have to change it or cancel it? How did this affect you? What can you do in the future to avoid a similar situation from happening? To get those high bands like band 7, 8, 9 in the IELTS, you must answer all the questions on the cue card. Okay, they're looking for that completion, right? It is a very good idea to read the card twice in your 1-minute preparation time. Okay, you get 1 minute to read, prepare, and then 1 to 2 minutes to speak. And it's very important that you answer all the questions and that you stay on topic. So it's a really good idea to read it twice, especially pay attention to this topic sentence, okay? You have to stay on topic, right? Okay, so Sanantha says this is an experience. Yeah, Sanantha, a better way to think about it, I mean, experience is okay, but a better way to think about it is an event. Why did I say that, Sanantha? So why am I telling you to think about this more of as an event rather than an experience? What's the difference between experience and event in this case? So think about it as an event rather than an experience. And experience will come into the picture. Experience is kind of a subset of the event, right? So think about it as an event rather than an experience, all right? Okay, when you talk about an event, you need to think about the time of the event, okay? You need to think about the location of the event. You need to think about the attendees of the event. Attendees means like who was there, who was at this event, right? You need to think about the activities of the event, right? Yeah, Sanantha, exactly. So the experience is part of the event, right? If you're just thinking about the experience, then you're pigeonholing yourself. It means you're restricting your ideas, right? So you need to think about the activities in the event, and then you need to think about your experience, right? And that can include also purpose of the event, right? So why is this event happening? But basically you cover these points. Amrit, good to see you in the class. I love how you're back for some more study. That's great. All right. So you know that it's an event. You know what you need to say. You identify the tense, okay? And to do that, you need to look at the questions. And in this case, you can see from the questions that most of this speaking is past tense, or a lot of it is, right? Discuss a time when you had to cancel or change your schedule. What was your schedule? Why did you have to change it? So these are all past tense, okay? Had to, right? What was your, what did you, how did this affect you? So a lot of it's past tense, but then there is a little bit of future. Notice this, what can you do in the future to avoid similar? So yes, James, Newen, past, past continuous, past perfect, but also a bit of present and future. So this is where you've got mostly the past, but also a bit of present and future. Okay. So that technique is quite effective in this case, the PPF, the past, present, future, because the question asks you for it. All right. Okay, so let's discuss some situations. Now that you know it's an event, you identify the tense. This is all happening very fast in the 1 minute preparation time. You've read the questions, okay? This should only take you about maybe 15 seconds to get to this point. The next step is very important, and this is one that I highly recommend paying careful attention to, is think about 2 to 3 good ideas to answer this question. Some of you might be like, well, I don't know when I had to cancel an event. Like, I can't think of something off the top of my head. It doesn't have to be real. Think of stereotypical situations. What does that mean, stereotypical situations? Anybody? So what does that mean, viewers, members? To have a stereotypical situation. You can also think about it as typical situation. You don't need the stereotype part, but stereotypical. What is a stereotypical situation in this case? The time when you had to change or cancel an appointment. What are some stereotypical situations for this? Okay, there's definitely about 4 or 5 that come to mind for me personally. Domenico says, I'm trying to elaborate on some ideas based on a made-up story while having lunch. Domenico, in fact, you are in a perfect, I was thinking about you. You are in a perfect situation to answer this question. Okay? You are in a perfect situation. And it's very smart to use your known context. So in this case, Domenico, your workplace. All right? I'm not sure exactly what kind of a job you do, but I could probably come up with 1 or 2 good ideas about canceling or changing an appointment based on work or school that I have to do. Okay? So you're in a perfect context, Domenico, to come up with a good answer for this. I was wondering if you would chime in with something there. Okay, so stereotypical situations are common situations. So that we often see in society in this case, right? It's like, oh, that's a stereotype, like canceling an appointment with the dentist, okay? All right, that would be a common one. Amrit, yeah, due to weather change or health problems, right? So due to bad health, yeah, canceling a meeting or changing the schedule of a meeting due to bad health, right? Absolutely. Changing a travel plan due to bad weather. Okay, those would all be common situations. All right. Changing a sports event due to bad weather or injury. Okay, that could be another one. So there are a lot of situations that are kind of just stereotypes, right? Changing or canceling a family event due to car troubles, right? So that could be another one. All right, so those are stereotypical kinds of situations that a lot of us at some point in our lives experience, right? So even if you haven't, and by the way, when you think about these, you might realize like, oh yeah, wait a second, that happened to me not so long ago, right? My car broke down. I was planning to visit my cousin for his birthday, but I had to cancel that because I had no way to get there. My car wouldn't start. So let's do that one. Let's just take one that is easy to talk about. We've got lots of content. We can talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes, and then we'll go from there. So here now, our next step is to have our first sentence ready, okay? So once I've decided, actually, sorry, notes. Let's not forget about our notes. So you have to take notes in that 1 minute, and you have to think about these points, right? So you have to think about the time, location, attendees, activities, experience. So let's take some notes on that. So the time of the event. Okay. And it's not a bad idea when you're doing your notes, students, to put down T for time. You don't have to do the bracket part. That's just for your learning right now. So T for time, location, L. So you know that you have all of these to talk about, right? So you put down location, L, attendees. Okay. And then experience or activities. So what happened? Okay, and then experience. Okay. So you know that, okay, I can put 1 or 2 notes for each of these and then I will be able to speak fluently, right? Yeah, Chen, exactly. So delay or rescheduling of the airplane due to bad weather. The plane couldn't fly, so you were stuck for an extra day wherever you were going. Exactly. Yanni says changing schedule because of an environmental disaster. That could happen too, especially if you live in a part of the world where you have floods or flash floods commonly and so forth. Exactly, right? So we have this saying, man plans, God executes. Okay? It means that we make a lot of plans, but sometimes there are unexpected circumstances which affect our planning and the outcomes. Okay, so right now let's do changing or canceling the schedule due to car troubles. Okay, so time, let's say last June 23rd, Saturday. Okay, we don't need to spend much time there. Location, maybe my house. Okay. Cousin's house in, I'm going to say Vancouver, so in another city. In fact, if you live where I live, which is Victoria, so I live in the city of Victoria, which is on Vancouver Island, we have to take a ferry to go to the mainland, the big part of Canada and the US. It's a 1.5-hour ferry ride. They're huge ferries. They take about 800 cars and 2,500 people on one boat. And they go every hour from multiple places. Vancouver Island is a big island. It's got 1 million people on it. The ferry is the only way for us to go over to Seattle, Vancouver, the mainland. And sometimes we have to change or cancel our appointments because the ferries aren't able to make the journey due to bad weather. So that's happened to me in the past where I had plans to visit my best friend in Vancouver and I wasn't able to because the ferries stopped going from Victoria to Vancouver. So that happens, okay, in certain parts of the world. All right. Okay, so work with me here, members, all right? We're doing this together, okay? So attendees, let's say that it was brother, me, extended family. I'm completely making this up, okay? Friends, okay? All right, Umreed says my family or friends, absolutely. Activities. Okay. All right, so this is kind of what my notes would look like, of course, using pencil and paper. Experience. These are just the ideas that are coming to mind. So maybe, you know, it was going to be a surprise. I got angry that I couldn't make it. I was frustrated, but I was happy that we could reschedule. So all of these ideas are coming into mind. Now, the only way that you can do this, members, is that you stay focused here, okay? And then comes your first sentence. Why is it so important to think about your first sentence before the examiner says, okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up, please begin speaking? So that's really important, okay? This tip, this one single tip, can get you a half band more. Yes, Amrit, absolutely. So Amrit says it will help you to be fluent because you will be able to start right away. So this will help you to be fluent, absolutely. What else will it help you to be? Yeah, Yanni says prevent an awkward start, absolutely. What else? There's one other important point here. Yeah, Creative Edge says to start the conversation without hesitation. Yep, absolutely. And to start by directly answering the cue card, okay? A lot of students start this way. So they go, well, there have been a few different occasions when I've had to cancel or change an appointment, but the one I would like to talk about today is ... Okay, so this is a bad start. Because it's wasting time and it's not specific, okay? IELTS examiners don't like this kind of a start. I know that some students learn to start their response this way by kind of generally drawing a picture, but it's not a good start. Not if you want to get a band 7, 8, 9, okay? If you want to get those higher band scores, you have to be much more specific. So you have to start like this. You have to be specific. You have to say last year, 2021, June, like that, okay? So last year, 2021 June, I had to cancel a visit to my cousin's house because of car troubles. Now you have a specific answer that's targeting and focusing on the exact question at hand, okay? That's the kind of start that the examiners like to see, okay? Like to hear. They don't see it, they hear it, okay? Yeah, so creative edge, starting with today in this busy world, people care a lot about time. It's like, what? It's not a good start, okay? It's not really related to the question. It's like, why are you telling me that? It's understood and we don't need it. So creative edge, focus on these kinds of specific starts, Okay, all right. This is what you have to do to start the response. Okay, do not generalize the cue card. If you do that, you're going to lose marks. All right, so don't do that. Okay, this should not be a capital. So last year in 2021 June, I had to cancel a visit to my cousin's house because of car troubles. My brother, and then watch this. So all I'm doing now at this point is I'm paying attention to my notes, okay, the notes here that I took, and then I'm paying attention to the original questions here. What was your schedule? Why did you have to change it or cancel it? Okay. So here I'm literally just going through my notes and then paying attention to the cue card questions. So my brother and I Okay, so here, members, you can write sentences. So I would love to look at your sentences. They don't have to be in the exact position or with the exact information as mine. But here I'm just developing my thoughts. And of course I could just do it in speaking, but I'm typing it out for you so you could see it, right? So I'm painting the picture of what happened and why it happened. So my brother and I had plans to go to my cousin's 30th birthday party on Friday after work. Since my brother lives in Vancouver, we decided to take my car and watch the grammar here. And it would have been about a 2-hour journey. However, when I tried to fire up my Nissan Pathfinder, the car simply wouldn't turn over. At first, I thought it was a dead battery, so I tried to get a jump start. Unfortunately, it wasn't the battery. It was the alternator. So I had to get it towed to a mechanic for repairs, and we ended up canceling our visit to my cousin Eric's birthday bash. This was really disappointing because we were both looking forward to seeing our extended family and partaking in the celebrations. He had planned a big event filled with food, music, and dance. Okay, so I'm just moving along nicely here to basically paint a picture. I'm completely making this up, by the way. I don't even have a cousin named Eric. So it's completely made up. But again, I'm just stringing it together from my notes. Okay. Amrit writes, last year in 2021 March, I had to cancel my volleyball match in Punjab due to rainy weather. Yeah, Amrit, that would be a good start if you're talking about a volleyball match that you had to cancel. Okay. All right. So at this point, I'm talking nice and smooth and fluent, and it's absolutely okay, students. In fact, it's not just okay, but it's a really good idea to stop for a second, look at your notes, and look at the questions. Okay. So what was my schedule to go to my cousin's birthday party? I did that. Why did you have to change or cancel it? Because I had car troubles. I talked about it. How did this affect you? I haven't talked about that. And what can you do in the future to avoid similar situations? I haven't talked about that. So I'm going to talk about these points in just a second, but I'm also going to check my notes. Okay, and I'm staying nice and calm and checking my notes. And if I'm making some mistakes with words and grammar, it's okay. The most important is the content. Okay. All right. So my notes. Did I talk about last June, Saturday? Yes. Did I talk about my cousin's house in Vancouver? Yes. Did I talk about the attendees? Yes. Did I talk about these activities? Yes. I haven't talked about the rescheduling yet. Did I talk about my experience, about how I felt? Not so much yet. Okay. So I still need to answer those questions. So now I know that I have to focus on this, and those last two questions on the cue card. Okay. Meanwhile, Yanni in the chat says, in early May 2022, I canceled attending a boy group concert due to health problems. Yeah, that's good. Sanantha says, a few months ago, August, I had to cancel my job training because I tested positive for COVID. Sanantha, because I tested positive for COVID. I got COVID positive test, a bit awkward. Okay. All right. And so let's answer those questions. Keep writing and keep thinking, everyone, because I'm going to give you a chance to respond to this part 2 cue card in just a moment. Okay, so we will interact here in just a minute. All right. So I called my cousin and told him what had happened. And he asked me if I could come and visit him at a later date. We decided to hang out the next week in a smaller group to celebrate his birthday. Although I was initially very upset, it all worked out in the end. I suppose in the future I could take my car for a checkup before going on a road trip to make sure that it is in good working order. All right, so there's my response, okay? And now I've answered all of those questions on the cue card that I was paying attention to, okay? Chinello says, what if the event is in the future? Well, Chinello, you wouldn't know that, right? Like you wouldn't be able to predict a cancellation in the future, okay? And if you're mixing up the tense, it's not a good idea. You definitely want to have the correct tense. So not something that you will cancel in the future, but in the past. Now, if you have a real event, Chinello, that you are planning to cancel in the future, pretend that it happened in the past. Pretend that it happened last month, and then change the sentences, change the information and the grammar so that you match the cue card. Always match the cue card. You have to be on topic. It's a good question, Chinello. You always have to match the cue card, okay? All right, students, let's try this out. So here we go. Last year in 2021 June. Okay, well, first of all, let's look at the cue card again, especially for those newcomers to the live class. So it's a discuss a time when you had to cancel or change your schedule. What was your schedule? Why did you have to change or cancel it? How did this affect you? What can you do in the future to avoid a similar situation from happening? Your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. Last year in June 2021, I had to cancel a visit to my cousin's house because of car troubles. My brother and I had plans to go to my cousin's 30th birthday party on Friday after work. Since my brother lives in Vancouver, we decided to take my car, and it would have been about a 2-hour journey. However, when I tried to fire up my Nissan Pathfinder, the car simply wouldn't turn over. At first, I thought it was a dead battery, so I tried to get a jump start. Unfortunately, it wasn't the battery. It was the alternator, so I had to get it towed to a mechanic for repairs, and we ended up canceling our visit to my cousin Eric's birthday bash. This was disappointing because we were both looking forward to seeing our extended family and partaking in the celebrations. He had planned a big event filled with food, music, and dance, so I called my cousin and told him what had happened, and he asked me if I could come and visit him at a later date. We decided to hang out the next week in a smaller group to celebrate his birthday. Although I was initially very upset, it all worked out in the end. I suppose in the future I could take my car for a checkup before going on a road trip to make sure that it is in good working order. Okay. All right. Now, I'm guessing that some words in this response are kind of new, and that's good. I hope that all of you are learning the new vocabulary. What are some new words or some new expressions here for you? Car troubles is a good collocation to know. Okay. So we often use that in English. I'm having car troubles. You have car troubles. Okay. Fire up means to start. Start the car. Okay. Yes, Yanni, exactly. It's not turn on the car. We usually don't say turn on the car. We say start up the car. Fire up the car, start up the car, start the ignition. Okay. Turn over. When you're in a car and you turn the car over, it goes vroom, 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 right? So if it doesn't turn over, then it just goes it doesn't turn over. Turning over means it goes vroom, 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 right? So jump start. That's a really good piece of vocabulary to know if you're traveling in English. I need a jump start. Can you help me learn this one? Okay. I need a jump start. Can you help me? Do you have something cables? This is a good piece of vocabulary. I might have just saved a few people some headache there when you're traveling. Okay. Anybody know what those cables are called? So a jump start is when you have a dead battery in your car, and then you have those cables that have the kind of teeth on it. I'm going to try to draw this there. So you have a blue cable, or sorry, blue. You have a red cable and a black cable. Okay. Now, if you don't know how to do this, definitely ask the help of a professional. You should never do it by yourself if you don't know what you're doing, because you'll electrocute yourself. Or worse, you can even light the car on fire and blow everybody up. But yeah, so definitely take a professional. Anybody know what those cables are called? You should have them in your car if you're going on long road trips, especially. Amrit, they're not called connectors. They're called something cables. Chen says explosion. What are they called? What are those cables called that you use to jump start the car? They're called, well, the easiest way is they're called jumper cables. Okay, jumper cables. We also call them booster cables. Okay, so jumper cables or booster cables, there you go. And if you don't have them, you might have to ask for them, jumper cables. All right, so good word to know. The alternator is what charges your car battery when you're moving. Okay, that part of the car, it's the alternator, right? If your car doesn't turn over, it's either a dead battery, alternator, or a bad starter. It's usually one of those three. Tow is when your car gets pulled by another car. It's called towing. Okay. Let's see. Partaking means to participate, partake in celebrations. Okay. The event is filled with. Notice that interesting expression there. Okay. Let's see. Anything else? Yeah, I think most of those. Road trip. Road trip is when you go on a longer journey. Okay. It's when you go for a longer drive. So if you're not just going to the store or your work or school, but you're actually going to the next city or even another country, you are on a road trip. All right. Okay. So members, let's do this. Let's answer this part 2 cue card. I will give you a chance to give your answers, to volunteer, and all of our viewers, you will be able to do this for part 3 questions next class. Go to aehelp.com, create a My Student account, click on Student Partner Speaking, make sure your microphone is working and your browser is set up correctly, and then you will see me. I will be Master, that will be my handle, and write me a message. I want to volunteer. I'm going to show you how to do this, so give me 1 second. Here we go. So we go to the website. I told you we'd use the website. Okay. So we go to the website. You create an account by clicking either this big red button there, or you create a free account with the green button. These are very easy to do. All right. So create an account, log in, go to your My Student account. In your My Student account, you've got all of these goodies, practice exams and so on, and then you go to Student Partner Speaking. There it is. All right, Student Partner Speaking. Here we go. I accept and start speaking, and then you will be in this page here. You get a new window. This is where you will find me. I will be listed as Master. Click on me, click on Master, and then say, I want to volunteer. Okay. All right. And I am looking for members, first of all, as this is a members chat class, but if we don't get members volunteering, I will take other people to volunteer as well. And I will put my ears on so I can hear you better. Right? The story of Little Red Riding Hood. Grandma, why do you have such big ears? So I can hear you better. Okay. All right. Well, the first member who I see volunteering, if you're a member and you're not in the chat and I don't know that you're a member, let me know that you're a member. Send me a message in the chat, okay? All right, so Sunantha, let's give you a chance. Are you ready? And I will give you a band score estimate, and I'll give you some tips on how to improve, okay? So Sunantha, if you're there, if you're ready, let me know, and I will give you a call, and then we can get right into it, okay? All right, Sunantha. Hi, Sunantha.
Hi, how are you?
I am a bit under the weather, to be candid, but I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm a bit nervous.
You're a bit nervous. Okay, well, we're in a good boat. So, a bit nervous. I'm under the weather. It's all good. We'll get through it. Yeah, and that's the trick. You have to practice even when you're nervous or under the weather. Okay, Sunantha, I will show you the cue card. I will start you off, and then you can answer using kind of the same information that we practiced, talking about canceling a birthday visit or a family visit, or you can do something completely different. It's up to you, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'll start you off. I've got the cue card questions on the screen here. Make sure to answer all the questions on the cue card, okay? You ready?
Okay.
All right, so discuss a time when you had to cancel or change your schedule. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Last year in 2021, in May, I had to cancel the English camp training because I was tested positive of COVID-19. So the class started at 15 to 30 May in 2021. During the, unfortunately I got COVID-19. I have to under quarantine and follow the rule and stay in the hospital. So under quarantine for 15 days. So it's very long time, and I felt ill and cannot go outside. So that situation made me so obsessed and so sad, so frustrated because I lost great opportunity to participate the intensive English class. I call the training course give me the opportunity. I can reschedule to apply for the new course in 2023. After COVID-19 experience, I recognize I have to be safe and be careful when I go outside. I have to
your
wear
time is up.
mask.
I will stop you there, and we will now continue with part 3. For this part, I will ask you some more questions related to your response. So not that was good. You're getting better and better, okay? And you said you're nervous, but I can tell that you're more focused, more confident than before, and it's helping you to improve your coherence. So I can clearly understand what's happening. It's very clear for me what the event was, why you had to cancel it, how you felt about it, what you have to do in the future. So it was very good. My first, and I think you would get like a band 5.5 to even maybe a 6 for that. To make sure that you get a 6 or even a higher score, a 6.5, you have to be a little bit more fluent, which will come with practice. So basically saying exactly what you said, but just faster, will get you an extra half or even a full band score, okay? And then the grammar in a couple parts was a little bit off, so it was a little bit kind of unclear, and the tense was off. Like here you said... where is it? I called the training class gave me. It's gave me. You want to use the past tense. So I called the center, and the head of the training class gave me. So there was a couple of missing words there, and a little bit off grammar. But overall, it was very, very good. So you did a very, very good job, and you had some really nice English expressions. So you said that it made you so upset and frustrated because I lost a great opportunity to participate in an intensive English class. That was very nice English, okay? Very natural English. Enunciate your words, Sanantha, okay? So just repeat after me. It made me so upset and frustrated.
It made me so upset and frustrated.
Yeah, really enunciated. So upset and frustrated.
so obsessed and frustrated.
Yeah, so in native English, especially when we're talking about our emotions, we tend to really emphasize it. Like, I'm so upset right now. So we tend to really kind of emphasize emotions in English. We say, it made me so upset and frustrated because I lost a great opportunity to participate in an intensive English class. Okay, so emphasize. It's kind of like you're acting a little bit extra. Okay, but overall, Sunantha, very good. That was a very good response. Keep it up. Keep practicing. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
That was Sunantha. Let's give her a thumbs up. That was really good. So she took a very common situation from the last few years around the globe of having to cancel or reschedule because of feeling sick or because of COVID. Absolutely. All right. I think Yanni was the second member that I saw kind of pop up here. So Yanni, are you ready to give it a try? Thank you, Fuang and Chen and Yanni, for the thumbs up. That's really kind of you. And I'm sure, students who are here regularly now in this class and participating, I'm sure you can also hear that Sunantha's improving. She's definitely improving. Her clarity is getting better and better. That's great.
Sir Adrian,
Hi, Yanni. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Okay, that's good. Yanni, are you ready to challenge yourself with this part 2 cue card?
Yes, I need to take a deep breath because I'm nervous.
That's okay. You don't have to be nervous. It's just practice.
All right.
All right. So here we go. Discuss a time when you had to cancel or change your schedule. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
In the early of May 2022, I had to cancel. I had to cancel to attend a boy group concert because of my health issue. Me, my friends, even my ex-boyfriend had planned to go to an NCT concert on 4th of May as the 4th of May because we live in so close in the one city. We decided to take a Grab car to the concert hall. But at first, I need to test swab test to predict am I positive for COVID or not. But surprisingly, when I tried to test it by myself, I got positive for COVID. I thought it was a wrong result. So me and my mom went to hospital to got the proven result, and unfortunately I got the same result on the swab test. So I felt went to the concert hall because I'm proven positive COVID disease. So this is the experience that I'm so regret and disappointed because it is literally my first time I got a positive corona.
All right,
So
I'll stop you
for
there. Your time is up. And we will now go to part 3. And for this part, I will ask you some more questions related to your response and to the topic of part 2. Okay, Yanni, not bad. So your response would be about a band 5 to 5.5. So just a little under Sunantha's. It'd be about a half a band less than Sunantha's. Now, the reason I do that, and I don't really like comparing between students, but I think here there's a good point to make. So your fluency and your grammar is very comparable to Sanantha's. So both of you have, and if you listen to this lesson again, you'll see that both of you have very similar fluency, and you both make kind of similar kinds of grammar mistakes with some plurals and some different elements. There is one big difference between your response and Sanantha's response. Both of you talked about COVID, interestingly, but there is one big difference. Do you know what that is, Yanni?
Sorry, sir.
So so your response and Sanantha's response in many ways is very similar. Even both of you talked about COVID. But there's one difference of why Sanantha would get half a band more than what you would get. Do you know why that is?
Because I'm using we.
No. What is the focus of your response? So what did you focus on a lot when you gave me your answer?
About the grammar.
No, about COVID, right? So you can see here that, you've got COVID, COVID. And so the big difference between your response and Sanantha's response is Sanantha mentioned COVID, but Sanantha was focusing more on canceling her English training and how that was upsetting, and how then she called the training center and they allowed her to reschedule. You kind of got lost in talking about COVID and how that happened and how you had to go to the hospital and it was a positive test. And you started to kind of not talk so much about the card and what the card was asking, but you were talking about more getting the sickness, right? So you really have to pay attention to make sure that you're focusing on the card. Okay, so here, to improve your score immediately by half a band or even more, you have to kind of focus more on, and I was really excited to go to this concert because they're my favorite boy group band. I have a lot of their CDs and I love the lead singer, and it was just so disappointing that I couldn't hear them live. I hope that they come to my city again in the future so that I can have the opportunity. So you needed to think more about the event and canceling the event and then hoping in the future that it would change, rather than, swab test negative. I was disappointed about that, so I went to the hospital. That kind of started to take you really off topic. Does that make sense, what I'm saying about that?
Okay. I already realized.
Yeah, so that was the biggest difference. That's why there's that half band score difference right away. It's the coherence aspect or the accuracy aspect. So make sure, Yanni, that you don't go off topic. No matter how exciting or interesting or strange or important that might seem, you have to stay on topic, okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, Yanni, keep it up. I recommend trying it again. So when you have some time later today or tomorrow, try this one again, and then keep the same idea, but change your answer a bit. So it's focusing more on the actual event that you had to cancel or reschedule. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All right.
Thanks a lot, sir.
You're welcome. Bye, Yanni.
See you later.
All right. So thumbs up for Yanni, and a very important tip, everybody. IELTS, it's not about the truth. It's not about you expressing your feelings or talking about a crazy event that happened to you. It has to be the cue card, right? That's why I told everybody that you can't be like, well, people's time is really important. There are a lot of situations where I've canceled or changed appointment. No. Talk about the time you canceled or changed an appointment. The reason why you changed it or canceled it, that's just one part of it. You can't get lost in the reason, okay? You have to go back to the topic of canceling that appointment. All right, let's take one more. Let's take Fuang. Fuang, are you ready? If you're there, Fuang, because I know Fuang, to me anyway, it seemed like you were the third person from our members to join in. Fuang is ready. Hi, Fuang.
Hi, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. You're always just a ray of sunshine, Fuang. Every time I ask you, you're always fantastic. That's such a good way to be. All right. You have to tell me what you put in your coffee or your tea in the morning. What kind of sugar you're using. I want to be as fantastic as you. All right. Phuong, are you ready to answer this part 2 cue card?
I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm ready, sir.
Awesome. Okay, I'll start you off. Here we go. Discuss a time when you had to cancel or change your schedule. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
I can clearly remember one occasion that I had to change my examination schedule due to my cystic was 5 years ago. I had to take part in the transfer examination from secondary school to high school, and all students in my city, including me, had to take this exam in order to be allowed to learn in the best high school that we had dreamed of. This exam happened in July, and it just took place in 3 days. So if someone non-charting, they wouldn't have the second chance in their life. But unfortunately, I caught a cold and it got 40 degrees, so I had to go to the hospitals. The doctor told me that I had a sickness named acute hemorrhagic fever, so it could easily make my blood thermophile, and that means I would die anytime. So I had to be at the hospital for 1 week. At that time, I was so exhausted that I couldn't study or prepare for my examination. That's why I had to change the time for it. My parents talked and had a discussion with the principal of high school. Finally, they agreed for me to take the examination after I recovered from my cystic. And I had to be the only candidate in that room who were tested by 2 examiners with different tests from other candidates. The, the problem really brought a lot of difficulty for me. I had to cancel my examination, and the only candidate.
Okay, your time is up. I will stop you there. All right, Phuong, and you're going and going and going. All right. Yeah, so Phuong, you want to kind of put an end to it. You answered that last question, okay? So once you answer the last question in the cue card, what can you do in the future to avoid a similar situation from happening? Once you kind of start to get to that, then you want to stop. So focus on that last question. Make sure you clearly answer it, and then stop. Okay. And this is an important tip for everybody. Definitely practice that 1 to 2 minute time frame at home, because the examiner has to stop you at 2 minutes. They have a clock there and they have to stop you at 2 minutes. Okay, Phuong, good, great fluency. This sounds like it really happened. Did this really happen to you?
Yes, 5 years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds like it was a very difficult time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you had a very clear description of what happened. And Phuong, overall, you're very fluent. So you're easily, at the band 6 to even 6.5 level here. To get a higher band score, I would actually suggest slowing down a little bit, like 10% slower, and really pay attention to pronouncing words clearly and just very clearly answering those questions on the card, making sure to include that last question. Repeat this word after me. Hospital.
Hospitals.
Yeah, hospital. So when you slow down, Phuong, I think your pronunciation does become clearer. Okay, so make sure that you really pronounce words clearly. Otherwise, it was quite good. Okay, so I think overall very, very good. Keep up the practice and keep practicing that pronunciation. Okay, you can master it. So work on those phonetics. Just speak a little bit slower. All right.
Okay, sir. I have a question, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I try to look at the cue card and my notes, but I also miss it and I lose my pen score. So, may I speak more faster or slower?
So, okay, so it's totally okay to look at the cue card and it's totally okay to look at your notes. That's why you have it. Okay, so the examiners expect students to look at the cue card and look at the notes. That's why they're in front of you, and they leave that there for the whole time. They only take it after part 2. You can speak a little bit slower. If you speak slower, you're still very fluent. So you want to decrease your speed so that you can increase your pronunciation and your coherence. Okay, so it's like a kind of like a balancing act of, losing a little bit of speed and maybe content, but increasing coherence and pronunciation. You will get a better score overall. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay, Fuang, keep up the good practice, and I hope to see you in the next class for part 3.
Okay, thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye for now. All right, that was Fuang. Give Fuang a thumbs up. What a terrible event to happen. And just imagine you're going through all of school and then you have this big government exam coming up, and the next thing you know, you can't do it because you're all sick. So anyway, but I'm sure Fuang did okay because she's a smart cookie. So I'm sure she did just fantastic. Masala, Zoraida, Kenjayeva, Dhruvraj, I will be looking for you in the next class, which will be an all chat class. Students, that's it for this class. Like I say, I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm trying to conserve a little bit of energy here for the next class. But I will be back in about 45 minutes for speaking part 3, which will focus on time management. So managing your time. And I hope that all of you come back for that class. Karina, Chen, Amrit, and all the other members. It was great having you here with me in the class. I hope to see you soon in 45 minutes. Until then, everybody check out aehelp.com. Check out glshelp.com, and you can continue using the speaking interface to practice your speaking with other students meantime, right? So that way you can make sure that it works for you as well on your phone or on your tablet or whatever you're using it on. And then when we connect, you'll know that it's going to work just fine. Students, I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria for the next 45 minutes, and then I'm back with speaking part 3. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.